Hey guys, just want to let you know that this allegation is forbidden.
Verboten.
You are not to talk about this allegation. In fact, it's against the law. Anyways, time for another 25-minute video about it. So there's this game called Dead by Daylight. I guess the gamers out there probably know it and love it. It's a survival horror game. Whoa, surviving? There's horror? It's like scary, but you're surviving? Oh my god.
Open the gate! Open the gate!
But today, we will be asking the question, can you survive the horror of the Otsdarva girlfriend allegation? Otsdarva has got over 1 million subscribers and he averages some pretty good views. And now, someone is accusing his ex-girlfriend of some very heinous things in a pretty short document for a change. It's a short document. Everyone clap. It's not 80 pages. It's like 2. Okay. What a nice change of pace. This individual named Laylasaurus Rex posted a Twitter document which opens by saying, "Please don't make reaction content or drama videos about the subject. Please do not attempt to contact Nina, Otz, myself, or our mutuals, or for more information, or to make a scene. This is not gossip, slander, or pity drama. There are real people that are real victims that have been extremely hurt by her." Well, I hate to break it to you, but if this is real, YouTubers making videos about it should be the least of your problems. Firstly, if you actually want people to see this and like it to have an impact with these allegations and it to actually reach the audience that it should, which is like the YouTube and content watching audience, people making videos about it is only going to help you. Unless they're false allegations, in which case you've got something else to worry about entirely. But I'm not saying they're false. We're not even close to that yet, okay? Anyway, let's read this. In May of 2023, me and Nina became good friends. Nina was made aware that I'm not in the best financial decision and bragged to me that she had 200 grand in savings and could help me out. She offered to buy me in-game cosmetics in exchange for naked Snapchat pictures. Whoa! Oh, the old classic CS:GO knife for a butt pic. Whoa. Chat, whoa. I did not want to receive these. She would also start conversations by asking me how I'm doing, or if I was okay or just struggling. She would send unsolicited and unwanted half-naked pictures or videos in reply. I just turned 20 at the time. She was over 30. This made me extremely uncomfortable, and I withdrew from the friendship and group. She sent several unsolicited pictures that were never asked for or welcomed by myself. These inappropriate pictures were all taken at Otz and Alex's house while they were both still in a happy relationship. Bruh. Alex had no idea any of this was happening at the time. Whoa. So she was gaming. She was playing Dead by Daylight, and at the same time that she was living with this guy, apparently, she was sending nude pictures to this 20-year-old individual, allegedly, in exchange for CSGO skins. Wow, chat, that's crazy. When I went to visit a friend in the UK at the same time Nina was visiting, I felt too uncomfortable to go and meet with Nina and some other friends. Nina proceeded to sabotage my character to those friends in order to isolate me from the friendship group. I've heard from countless others how she would talk about me, and she would also talk about other people to me that I've now found out she was extremely inappropriate to. Whoa. Inappropriate? Whoa. Nina would still show up in my Twitch chat often and I would feel extremely uncomfortable. But seeing how everybody loved Nina and being worried that I wouldn't be taken seriously or believed, I didn't say anything for a long time. I was worried that I wouldn't be believed or get into trouble. I recently spoke to Alex about my experience, and when Nina was confronted about this over the phone by Alex, she lied about it again continuously. I'm going public about this to protect further victims and speak out against sexual harassment and abuse of power. I'm really grateful to Alex for his sympathies and request that anyone reading this do not go to his Twitch or YouTube to pester or make a big deal. He is also a victim here. Do not message Nina. We all hope she gets the help she needs to stop hurting people continuously. So, I mean, the good thing about this that I will say, as far as their intentions, if they're being honest here, is that they're not calling for like a witch hunt, which, not that this Nina person doesn't deserve like online, but they're not calling for like a huge witch hunt. Instead, they're just saying like this person needs help and people need to know that they're like this, which is, you know, seemingly a good motivation, right? Because they're not trying to like ruin their life over it. They're like, this person's a freak. They're like mentally ill. There's something wrong with them. They need to never do this again. Please do not treat this as a gossip or scandal. Don't make content on it. Too late. We just want to protect people from it continuously happening and move on. Now, this is a pretty interesting allegation if all of it is true, but the main problem here is I didn't include one shred of evidence. And if this is all real, some of it should be pretty easy to prove by just providing a few basic screenshots, maybe a recording of that phone call, showing that Nina did all of this, or showing she denied it, or I don't know, just something. I mean, you make some pretty serious claims here. You say she offered to buy me in-game cosmetics in exchange for Snapchat pictures. There should be some pretty easy proof for a claim like that. Maybe you didn't screenshot it at the time, so maybe it doesn't exist. But I feel like there's got to be something here. There's got to be something, maybe other witness testimony included in here. For the in-person interactions that went down, I understand this stuff is kind of hard to prove, and from that perspective, I'm more sympathetic. But realistically, you kind of need a little bit of evidence for a claim like this to hold any weight outside of your little target community audience thing, right? So in the replies, we do have a few people claiming to be close to the situation, and they're saying that the proof does exist and they've seen it. But if it exists, and this Nina person is actually a horrible, horrible person, why not just post that, right? It would put to bed any and all doubts about this if you just had them dead to rights. Why even go through the effort of accusing them if you claim that you have the proof but you don't show it? It makes people suspicious, and if Nina actually is guilty, then it makes this all beneficial for her because she can respond with her own story and her own screenshots that can make you look bad or make you look like a liar, right? This is common sense for online allegations at this point. I thought anyway. I thought that was common sense. Now, Oz also responded on Twitter to this, saying, "Please stop demanding proof. It breaks my heart to say that everything shared here is true. Losing a 5-year relationship overnight and then finding out about this has been beyond brutal. Please don't make it any harder." Now, I understand if all this is real, this is a very tough situation for Otz, and the fact that people close to the situation said it did happen does add some level of credibility to all of this. But you got to understand, for someone not involved in the situation who doesn't know these guys, like someone like me doesn't necessarily want to trust you guys, right? It is very easy to lie online. You can just say anything and some level of people, some amount of people will just believe you with no evidence whatsoever. You guys could very well be telling the truth, and I'm honestly erring on the side that you are. I think I believe you guys, but any allegation requires a decent amount of proof, a preponderance of evidence. Now, someone on Reddit, great start to a sentence, I know, who claims to be close to the situation corroborated this and said, "As someone who was involved in this coming out, I can verify that Lels's experience is 100% true and accurate. There's no screenshots because half of this happened on Snapchat, and the other half that verifies it are naked photos, and that's revenge." Otz is aware of the situation. I hope that everyone who comments and shares does so out of the safety of the other victims that are coming forward and not to sensationalize or be insensitive to a really difficult situation for many people. Nina has unfortunately sexually harassed multiple people and continues to deny and manipulate people. She does not deserve a platform and is not safe to govern a community. She's the governor. It's not about canceling Nina, it's about her refusal to do better. She needs help, and the victims and Otz need peace and support. Thank you. Now, as far as I can tell, Nina has yet to say anything about all of this, publicly at least. Otz claims she admitted to wrongdoing, but the Redditor said she's in denial, so it's kind of hard for me to reconcile that. I can't find where this exists, if it exists at all, where Nina acknowledges any wrongdoing. Doesn't seem like any of them have posted that. Now, X8, Connor, you guys may know him, he made a video about all of this where he pointed out that it's kind of off-putting that there are these contradictions going on. He's like, what's really going on here? Why is that the case?
Firstly, Otz says that she herself has admitted to her wrongdoing when a couple of other people involved in this situation, like Lel and the Reddit commenter, said that she has been denying all of this. So immediately that was a bit of a contradiction for me, but I was curious if maybe it just happened in between the time that the document went public and Otz made this statement, because this document went public about 21 hours ago from the time of this recording, and Otz made a statement 3 hours ago from the time of this recording. So I did reach out to a few people. I did speak to Otz directly. I'm not going to show all the DMs just out of respect, but just to answer questions about these specific contradictions. Nina apparently did some time ago take an indefinite break from streaming in order to focus on her mental health and apparently get better. So she left the internet to try to cope with all this and get better at it. I guess that's what I've heard. And so that is when I believe that this happened, that she kind of admitted to everything that she's done, or at least just admitted to wrongdoing, as Otz puts it. And also from what I gather, Otz himself was not involved in writing this document or making it public. This is a totally separate situation and a separate person who is a victim of Nina. And obviously Otz is just aware of this because they dated publicly for 5 years. So Otz and this person, they communicate, of course. That's known, that's assumed. But Otz wasn't involved in making this document public. And pretty much their private relationship drama was going to stay completely behind the scenes, but other people involved in this decided to now go public with it.
So that's all well and good, but from my perspective, it's kind of a cluster. Now, I'm going to go forward with this video under the assumption that Nina is guilty of all this, just for argument's sake. Let's say she's 100% guilty. She could just ignore all of this, right? She doesn't really have to improve. She could go on to other content creation opportunities in a different community and be just fine. Like, really, what is there to stop her right now if she's guilty? If this gets brought up, she could just be like, well, that's not true. And the people on the other end are going to be like, well, there's no evidence. You're based. You're a warrior for us, okay? You're a patriot even. Thank God the based goddess is here, the goddess of Dead by Daylight. At the very least, I think it's important to establish some standard of evidence when talking about these situations. Even if it's just a screenshot of Nina admitting that she did all of this, I think that would probably be enough. Now, another weird thing about this is the original accuser never provides proof for the allegation. Obviously, I pointed that out already, but then the Redditor said that the proof doesn't exist because of this reason and that reason. They say there's no screenshots because half of this happened on Snapchat, and the other half that verifies it are naked photos, and that's revenge. And then on the other hand, this Hens dude in the replies on Twitter says, even though there's no proof being made public, I can verify it exists. So it does exist? Did you look at that revenge? or something. Also, if someone sends it unsolicited, like if somebody sends you didn't want to see it, like is it really revenge anyway, like to talk about it? Even like you can talk about it, right? You don't have to like post her tits or whatever. You can talk about it. I'm not saying you should post it. I'm just kind of perplexed by the logic going on here. And once again, I'm not saying that anyone here is lying, but when someone says not to make content out of an allegation, it kind of strikes me as someone who doesn't want to have a critical lens over all of this. Nina could absolutely be 1000% guilty, and I'm going to give Otts and Lel and everyone else here the big benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt stamp slapped right on top. But if the people involved in the situation either haven't even seen proof of wrongdoing themselves, and then the public hasn't seen any verified proof, like I don't know, it's a little sussy-wussy. Like I understand why people would be skeptical of this and not necessarily want to hashtag believe all victims in this situation. So as I said, Connor X8 made a video about all of this, and then one of the people who's claiming to be involved in this document coming out or something called for people to report his channel and like get it taken down off of YouTube. Look, if you guys are telling the truth, if you genuinely want to support this allegation, you cannot control who talks about it or doesn't. In fact, trying to do that and trying to flag down videos that are just a little bit critical of what you have to say makes it look like you're hiding something. Now, a lot of people got really mad at Connor for even making a video about this situation because they claim he's profiting off of the allegations. And I'm here to say that I am also doing that. Thank you, by the way. But I would argue you actually do want YouTubers on your side with stuff like this. When somebody looks at allegations with a critical lens, it can actually strengthen your argument if everything you have is up to snuff. Because for someone who's not connected to the situation, if they're able to come to the same conclusion that you did, then that person's probably right? But once again, when you try to shut the conversation down entirely, not only do you limit the reach your allegation could have, which if the reach is harmed, it could allow this person to go to a different community and do the same thing, but you also look like there's something you're hiding. It looks like, what's going on here? Like you're reporting somebody's video for talking about this? And obviously the person that wrote the document is not the same person that reported Connor's video. I'm not saying they are, but there is kind of a discrepancy here where it's like, that shouldn't be something you're encouraging. And by the way, like you shouldn't expect any YouTuber to follow the don't talk about this rule. Like you posted it publicly, they might talk about it, okay? The YouTube community has been traumatized by a host of very real and some very fake allegations, which is why we expect a standard of evidence. The audience does not want to destroy someone's life over something that could possibly be false. From the outside looking in, this is like 5 people saying this person is guilty. Some of them contradict each other, albeit in a minor way that could be explained pretty easily. And anytime someone asks questions about it, like some people are shutting them out, this person tried to harm Connor's livelihood, it's not only not a good look, it's impractical and dumb for the goal you want to accomplish, which is this person being held accountable for their actions. If you guys don't want to post your proof, that's your prerogative, and I can't make you do anything, and neither can Connor, but you shouldn't be shocked when people are asking questions about it. Had to go private because that weird YouTuber is sending people to be like, oh, you're fake reporting and I can't be asked. I want to have a nap. Genius take. Good job. Doesn't make you look bad at all. You look credible, in fact. Now, this person posted this thread saying, I'm not gonna lie, too many of y'all are too comfortable demanding screenshots and receipts from people who are already doing the incredibly difficult task of speaking about their awful experiences with someone who holds high influence, especially when many trusted sources close to an abuser vouch about their behavior. The fact that instead of believing victims, your first thought is proof, I don't know, man, it's icky. It's icky? Well, I'm sorry that it's icky, but like that's like what normal people expect. Like when you make an allegation to the public, or if you make an allegation to the police are going to be like, is there proof? And if there's not, they're going to have a hard time prosecuting that person. I understand people have been falsely accused before, but maybe respond with some empathy. Kindness, it's so rare that someone will put themselves out there when speaking out against someone else with a large influence for a clout. Coming out about harassment and assault will most likely only end up in the victim being harassed or accused of lying. I mean, that's true in some scenarios. I feel like online that's generally not true though. I mean, it depends on the audience obviously, but I feel like the majority of cases that I see is people blindly believing an allegation, and sometimes that's fine because the allegation is true, and sometimes it's not because it's false, and then it's a problem, which is why people heavily scrutinize stuff like this, because we've seen so many cases of false allegations in the past few years, right? Can y'all just respect that someone wants to protect others from their experiences while beginning to heal? So grossed out by the replies I read today from mutuals asking for proof. I mean, this is a very bad take. I think you guys probably know what I'm going to say. It kind of writes itself. Obviously, talking about an experience you had, one that's hurtful to you, that involves a public figure, is difficult. But not everyone's on the same emotional wavelength as you. We don't know the accuser. We don't know Otts or whoever the this other person is. The fact that a lot of people who were apparently close to Nina are supporting these allegations and corroborating it and claim to have insider knowledge definitely helps your case, but at the same time, like, if they all have insider knowledge, how has one person not posted any proof? Like, what proof have they seen that makes them believe this? It's very possible they just saw what you said and they just believed you blindly. And there's nothing wrong with asking for further evidence, especially when you're accusing someone of sexual misconduct. It is one of the worst crimes you can be accused of. I mean, in the public eye, people talk about the crimes of whatever, the flesh, the passion. People talk about that way more than they talk about murder. Like, it's a big deal. Not that it shouldn't be, but it is a big deal. So it makes sense that Nina's fans or commentators, people talking about this, like looking into it, would want to have some evidence before they jump on board with calling them a horrible person. Now look, Eventic, Nina, whatever the they are, they could very well be guilty of everything that this person said, everything Layla Sora said. Like, they could be 1000% dead to rights ownage territory, okay? But I hope that this video I've made serves as a cautionary tale of just like, if you're interacting with the online world in any public forum, you may have some level of scrutiny. If you truly have the perspective that you don't need to provide any proof, then I guess just own that, but you shouldn't be surprised when people are curious about what's going on there, and you really shouldn't for this other be trying to get people's videos taken down for questioning you. Connor's video was not even that aggressive. He was nice to everyone involved. He even asked Otts for comment, and apparently he got it. So don't be foolish about this. Think critically, think smartly, okay? When you make a public statement, people can talk about it, and they will. I'm doing it now. Don't be foolish, okay? All right, anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching the vid. Skibidi.